Welcome to Salvan, an island nation ruled by, legend has it, an unbroken royal bloodline that can trace their lineage all the way back to the kingdom's founding thousands of years ago. Although the full details of what happened have been lost to time and reinterpretation, legends say that the people of Salvan lived in a peaceful utopia without the need for a king. Until one day, monsters invaded from across the sea. The monsters brought magic to the island and used it to subjugate and terrorize the people there. One man stood up against them and found that he had his own magic. Something in his blood repelled the monsters. He used it to chase the monsters away, saving Salvan. The people declared him king, and it's said that the magic still runs through the royal bloodline today, keeping the island safe. In more recent history, Queen Fidelity was crowned during a time of extreme economic decline for Salvan. The nation had suffered a fungal blight the previous autumn and experienced a massive food shortage. Without crops to export, the island lacked other trade resources to bring in money from foreign countries. Queen Fidelity vowed to Joaquin, the goddess of trade, that she would find new resources for Salvan and guide them out of their famine. She began excursions into the cave systems under the mountains of Salvan and into the Underdark. This angered the queen of the Drow, Ravidia, who formally declared war on Queen Fidelity and Salvan in 216. The war declaration caused Queen Fidelity to increase her armies tenfold. Her husband, King Ilya, orchestrated the invasion plans. The fighting stayed primarily in the Underdark and the cave systems between them and Salvan. 7 years after the war had started, Queen Fidelity announced a series of new laws. She placed restrictions on immigration, citizenship, and religious freedom. One of the new laws also stated that no member of the royal family under the age of 40 was allowed to leave castle grounds without an armed entourage. This effectively kept her 3 young adult children, Gedrin, Florian, and Irene, locked in the castle. Even though the war hadn't reached the surface, these laws were stated to be measures to keep the kingdom safe. Queen Fidelity's eldest son, Prince Gedrin, had been infamous for being rebellious as a young adult. He made the decision to abdicate his claim to the throne of Salvan and his royal status shortly after these laws were passed. This left his younger brother, Prince Florian, next in line for the crown. Gedrin joined the Knights' College and threw himself wholeheartedly into his studies. While the Knights' College is a self-paced course and graduation is different for everyone, Gedrin broke records by graduating with full honors in just over 1 year. He was invited to join each of the 12 orders of chivalry, but chose to accept a position in the Order of the Dove, an order dedicated to the value of hope. He was knighted at 19 years old, earning the title Sir Gedrin. He went to the Underdark, not to fight but to rescue prisoners and provide support to injured soldiers on both sides in opposition to his mother's war. In 225, Princess Irene married Marquis Percival of Lazovia, and she left Salvan to live with him. Just a year after their wedding, they had a son, Duke Pascal. Irene favored her life in Lazovia, and to this day still has not returned to Salvan. Prince Florian met Lady Evangeline at a party and fell deeply in love with her. The laws of Salvan forbade any relationship between the royal family and people of the common class. Lady Evangeline's status was barely considered eligible, and the castle court was disparaging about her low-born habits, like pouring her own wine. Prince Florian didn't care and married her in 227. Queen Fidelity was suddenly struck by a mysterious illness at the age of 48 and stepped away from her position on the War Council, allowing Prince Florian to take command in her stead. Her husband, King Ilya, also retired to stay by her side. Prince Florian began withdrawing Salvan's armies from Queen Ravidia's borders. In 228, Sir Gedrin was given word of a prisoner in need of help near Queen Ravidia's castle. During the rescue mission, his squadron was ambushed, and he was targeted. A Dregloth was used in the attack, and he barely made it out alive, losing his leg in the process. The leg was held and displayed in the Underdark as a slight towards Queen Fidelity. Sir Gedrin was retired from active duty at 28 years old and returned to the Salvan castle. The following year, Prince Florian was crowned. His vows were made to Eldolf, the goddess of peace and calm waters, to secure a truce between Salvan and the Underdark. After King Florian's coronation, Sir Gedrin caused a scandal by refusing the services of the castle's healer and instead hiring a lizard folk mage as his own personal healer. 2 years after the coronation, Queen Fidelity passed away due to complications from her illness. After the queen's funeral, Florian was able to begin peace negotiations with Queen Ravidia. Crown Prince Enric was born in 236, and with the announcement of his son, King Florian also announced the repeal of Queen Fidelity's restrictive laws. In 238, Princess Generva was born. The royals of Salvan had a long tradition of naming their children using the first letter of a relative's name, and the names of King Florian's children caused a stir in the kingdom. Prince Enric had been named after his mother, Queen Evangeline, and Princess Generva had been named after her uncle, Sir Gedrin. Some speculated that Florian had a secret child due to the fact that neither child was named after himself. In 241, Princess Irene's son, Duke Pascal, was sent to enter a fosterage with King Florian. The Duke was 15 years old at the time and quickly gained a reputation for being short-tempered. Some rumors stated that he had been sent to Salvan due to a habit of yelling at and, in some cases, hitting servants. 4 years later, King Ilya passed away. After his funeral, an end to the war with the Underdark was announced. As part of the peace treaty, Princess Generva was betrothed to Queen Ravidia's son, Prince Chasmire. The two would meet when Princess Generva came of age, and their wedding would be planned from there. Queen Ravidia returned Sir Gedrin's leg to Salvan, and the kingdom entered a quiet time of peace. When he was 17, several poems written by Prince Enric were leaked by a member of the castle's staff. The poems caused a scandal for him. They were all highly romantic, but he'd never been seen with a partner. People speculated about whether he was hiding an affair or merely daydreaming. Prince Enric later released the poems, along with a few new pieces as an anthology book. Critics called it sappy and pretentious and wrote long reviews poking fun at Prince Enric's lack of, as far as the public was aware, experience with the subject matter. Despite the initial criticism of his poems, the collection sold well, and the profits were donated to the Knights College. Prince Enric became close friends with one of his fans, an up-and-coming entertainer, Jimber Timber. After she turned 18, Princess Generva and Prince Chasmire were introduced. They began living together, spending half of their time in the Underdark and the other half in Salvan. The people of Salvan viewed Princess Generva as a poor young girl making an ultimate sacrifice for her country. Their wedding ceremony was planned to take place in the winter of the year 257. On September 5, 257, King Florian took Duke Pascal and Prince Enric on a hunting trip. King Florian had taken up the sport after the war and had tried to get Prince Enric into it as well. Prince Enric did not seem to enjoy the hunts and tended to stay at their campsite rather than participating. This time, Duke Pascal was able to persuade him to join the hunt. They spotted a stag, and when Prince Enric hesitated to chase it, King Florian did so instead. The group lost sight of him, and by the time they caught up with the king, it was too late. The animal had attacked and killed King Florian. The party searched for the stag, but were unable to track it. It had seemingly disappeared into the woods without a trace. The kingdom was in a state of shock. Sir Gedrin was declared acting regent and oversaw King Florian's funeral, while Duke Pascal made arrangements for Prince Enric's coronation. Queen Evangeline fell into a deep depression, and during this time another set of Prince Enric's poems were leaked to the public. This time the prose was dark and deeply sad. Prince Enric's friend Jimber Timber reinterpreted some of the lines into song lyrics in a show of support. Princess Generva and Prince Chasmeyer's wedding was delayed until further notice, and Salvan prepared to crown a new king in Florian's absence.